Welcome to Get a Clue, Casual Gamer, where we get a clue, C-L-U-E, about a game. Or sometimes a list of games. And today it's going to be a very different type of list because if you've watched any of my most recent videos, you know that I moved. And because of it, I had to pack up all my games and then, of course, unpack. And this is just some of the big stuff, except for, yeah, I have some other stuff that should be up here and in other places, but they're actually surrounding me right now because I come to realize as I'm setting stuff up that I had stopped buying games while I was packing and stuff because I knew I needed to pack and not be adding to them. And but then I kind of stopped. So like in the last part of April and May, I didn't buy games, but apparently starting on June, in early June, about 5-6 weeks ago, I bought a couple here and there, very specific reasons for it. And I was counting them as I was setting stuff up this week and realized that I now have 26 games I did not have 7 weeks ago. Yeah. They're all different reasons and why I did it. I will tell you, there's only one that I paid retail price for, manufactured retail price. All the others I got in some sort of discount and or really big discount, or it was a gift because of my move. Yeah, I got a couple as gifts. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you all these games, and in the comments, if there's one, I know I've done one, or I think one of them, I think I've only done last Thursday's video was one of them. The rest are still in their boxes, most of them unopened. So let's get a clue about what games did I accumulate in the last month and a half, and why and how did I get them. So we're going to start with the more unusual ones that not unusual games, but unusual way or place that I got in. And so I'm going to start with Gift of Tulips. This was my very first Kickstarter. If you don't know what a Kickstarter is, look it up. I've only done 2 Kickstarters. The other one is due sometime near the end of 2022. But I received my first Kickstarter, which I paid for. Well, I ordered it about a year ago. Yeah, just about a year ago I ordered it, and it was fulfilled in the last 6 weeks, actually in the last month. And this is Gift of Tulips, which is a card game, a beautiful card game about tulips, and some beautiful Dutch Delft type of artwork on the backs of the cards and on some of the scoring cards. And one of my grandmothers was Dutch, and so I just fell in love with the look of the game, and figured it's a simple enough game that I should be able to get some of my family who are also a quarter Dutch, or half Dutch if you're talking to my mom's generation, and see if I can get them to play some Gift of Tulips. So this was a Kickstarter. Then a friend of mine has pastor at a church in a neighboring state, and she and her women's group sent me a welcome to the area gift, and she knows that I like to play games, and so they included a card welcoming me and a game, Do You Know Me? And so this was a good party game, and with all kinds of questions and yes or no answers. And so I look forward to using it at some sort of game evening to get to know people. It's a good way of getting to know people. So I got this as a welcoming gift for my move. My new staff found out that I like games, and the very next day, I think it was still my first full week here, I walked into my office and there was a wrapped gift, and inside of it was Dothanopoly. Yes, I have moved to Dothan, Alabama, and this is a take on Monopoly with all the different locations in Dothan so that I can get to know my new city. And I thank my staff. That was very kind of them to think of me and think of something that I might enjoy. Then, let's see, another place that you don't, whenever I go there, I always check the toy department, toy section, to see if there is an interesting looking game and or at a good price. And I found two games that I have heard about, and they were on my radar. In fact, Roll and Write, the dice game, was on my Roll and Write wish list, and I just kept on putting it off for something else. But they had it priced for like $5, and I'm here going, yeah, there's no beating that price. So this I got at Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, like I say, I for years have always looked in the toy section to see if they have an interesting looking game, and I've got some very interesting games through the years. These two right here, Chaturanga and Valley of the Pharaohs, are very nice high-end games that I got at Tuesday morning. Chaturanga, that one right there, is a reproduction of the grandfather of the game chess, what it originally looked like in India, where chess originated. So anyway, so I got Roll and Write at Tuesday morning, but as I was getting ready to check out, I came across this at the end of a aisle, Broom Service, which is a Ravensburger game, and it was also $5, $4.99. So I knew about it, I just hadn't bought it, and because I was waiting to, I'm always looking for a good sale, and so it just it's a card game, and for $5, Ravensburger, you know, it's decent quality. So these two I got at Tuesday morning. So that's the most unusual ones that I have received. Now, let's see. I guess we can go with let's go with this ridiculous clearance sale that Target has had in the last 2-3 weeks. I'm in several Facebook gaming groups, and we're all talking about these deals that they had on some mass market games, but mostly the big deals were on gaming games, you know, hobby gamer type games. Now, I did buy a couple that are basically mass market, and a Clue, because, you know, can't have enough Clues, and it was on sale, so I was there like, okay, I'll get the Clue card game, because, like I say, you know, can never have enough Clues. And then I also went and got the mass market Uno, but it's celebrating their 75th anniversary. And what got me was the Barbie card, because you see, I'm old. Barbie and we came into the world in the same year. So I always have a special affinity for Barbie, even if, yeah, this is the 1959, because that's how old I am. You're welcome. You now know. But there she is, Barbie. So I had to get that set of Uno. Not like I need an Uno, but I have one. Another one. Then we start with the hobby gaming type of games. Now there is this party game, and I don't know too much about it, but I do know that I have cousins who absolutely love Taco Bell. And so I'm here like, Taco Bell party game. Okay, the next time we're all in the same city, I now have a game that I know that they'll get a kick out of, because it's Taco Bell and they love Taco Bell. So I got it. It was on clearance and I paid very little. I think I paid $6 for it, I think. So yeah, Taco Bell party game at Target. And then these three were in my first trip to Target. I happened to be there and noticed these sales and went, oh my goodness, my Target is doing what some of the others are doing. And so I picked up 3 games in that trip that have been on my radar, but I refused to pay full price for them. They weren't the ones that were yelling at me like, I have to have this one, I have to have this one. They were all, interesting. Oh, I think I would like that game, but I'm not willing to pay $30, $40, $50 for that. So yeah. But when they're $9, it's a different story. So I went and I picked up Disney's Gargoyles Awakening, which is a very unique game. I love the miniatures. That's kind of cool. And and it's a pretty looking game. And it's unusual in that it has 3-dimensional buildings that they can jump up and down from and cross over and stuff. So I look forward to learning how to play Gargoyles Awakening. Disney Gargoyles Awakening. It's also a Ravensburger game, so you know it's going to be pretty good quality items inside of it. Then this one I had been looking at. Sorry, I get kind of close to the camera there as I reach over because I got stacks everywhere. One of my aunts was a flight attendant for 40 years, 50 years. I mean, she started in the mid-60s. And so when this game came out a couple of years ago, it was on my radar. She did not fly for this airline, but she was a flight attendant during this time period, as well as all the way into the 2000s. She started in the 60s and was well into the 2000s before she retired. But Pan Am caught my attention because I remember Pan Am. We lived outside of the country and flew every summer to standby to try and get into the States and visit grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins. And so airplanes were very common for me. And this one comes with, I think, like 52 or 54 airplanes, different sizes, 52 different airplanes that you use as part of the game, and I thought that was kind of cool. So of course, again, for $9-10, I couldn't beat getting Pan Am, and so that's another one I got that trip. And the last one I got that trip was, oh no, was this the second trip? I think this was my second trip there, because they were out of No, this was my first trip. Red Rising. Now, some people have read the books. I have not read the books. My nephew has read the books and saw this game when I was okay. Long story, trying to shorten it. Whenever I go to visit my parents, there's a game store in the mall near where they live, and every time I go, I try and visit the game store and buy one or two games as a support system for flags for friendly local game stores. And I don't have any near me where I live, but when I'm there, I try and go and visit and buy something from them. And so I was there with my some nieces, nephews, sisters, whatever. And my nephew went into the store with me and he was looking and he saw this game and he says, "Oh, is it good?" And I said, "I've heard that it's pretty good, but it really doesn't have much to do with the actual books themselves. Yes, the cards have the different characters on them and such, and you're playing those characters, but you don't have to have read the books for the game to make sense. And if you're expecting that it has a big link to the books, you could be slightly disappointed, which is what I've heard. And so at full price, it was like, yeah, well, we'll just skip it. And he just kind of like, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah." It's like, I don't need it. I mean, full price was like $30, $40, again, $9, $10. Okay. So, yes, I have this now. And so I'm hoping next month to see my nephew and maybe we can pull this out and have a game of it. And he'll know and he can tell me why this person doesn't like this other person. I don't know. This card does not want to be mixed with this other card. Okay, so then there were other games that had been on clearance, but they were sold out. And so I, went home going, "Oh man, I wish they'd had this game or that game. I would have bought one." And then, a week later, people are still finding stuff in different things. And so one day I said, after work, I'm just going to run by there and see if by any chance they brought more out. They might have just sold out for that day and then they would put more out the next day, whatever. And so I went and sure enough, they had two games that I have never figured I would buy because, again, I refused to pay $40-$50 for these games that were heavier. These next two games are outside of the scope of this channel. The casual game level. These are a little cut above that, though they are easier or more simplified versions of their parent game. And I'll explain. This first one is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. There's a game called Terraforming Mars, and it's a bigger game, and it's a little bit more complex and everything. But Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is a card game version, kind of it. You see that? And it, it sells for $40, and I'm like, I'm not willing to pay $40. Actually, I don't like paying $40 for any game, so I just don't. And I'm sorry, but I'm cheap. I want quantity to choose from, not one big game to only play that game. So you know what? $12. From 40 to 12. I now am the proud owner of Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, which can be played solo. So if I don't find a gaming group or person to play this with, I can play it solo. And so we'll see how this goes. But it was set like 70% off. I mean, like 70, 80% off. I mean, it was crazy, the amount that it was off. And then the big game that I got this last trip at Target normally sells for $50, and again, this is the simplified version of a big game. And the original game runs like $150, $175 for the game, which will never, ever join my game family. And it's a very heavy game, and it's a long game, and it's, yeah. But this one came out a year and a half, 2 years ago now in Target. It was a Target exclusive type thing, and it was Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Gloomhaven being that big $150+ game. When they have it on sale for $135, people are grabbing it up because it's so cheap. I'm like, not happening. This one, you can see, is big and it's heavy. Normally sells for $50. And it has been on my radar. Everyone just really likes this game and says it walks you through learning the new mechanisms and all. So it's a cooperative fantasy campaign adventure, and I'm here like, this would be kind of cool to be able to play, and this also can be played solo. And so but there's no way I was going to spend $50 for it. I wasn't going to do it. It wasn't huge. It was only 40% off, or no, 60% off. It was 60% off. So I got it for $20, and that's really one of the most expensive ones I've gotten in the last month and a half. The $20. You can spend $17 on a Sorry, and this is a whole lot more than that. So Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion was my last purchase from Target in this sale. I might go by there this week and see if they have any of the others back in stock. Okay, I have two more categories. So the next category is Amazon. Just saying, I do buy some stuff on Amazon. It's like I have a wish list, and every week or so I'll go on the wish list and see if the price has gone down, because if you put something on a wish list, it will tell you how much it's gone down since you put it on the wish list. And so if it goes down 20% or 40%, if there's a sale going on for that on that day, it will show on your wish list that it's that much reduced. And so, it's an easy way of keeping track of how expensive, or is it on special? Is this the lowest price it's been in 30 days type thing, So I bought a couple new Christmas Funko games so I can do another Christmas game video this coming year. I did one last year, but I've got 3 or 4 new Christmas themed games since then, and so we'll see. So I got the Grinch Grow Your Heart and the Chip 'n Dale Christmas Treasures. So when I buy these, I buy them at $3 and less than $4 for sure. So I got these when they were under $4. And then this is One Night Ultimate Super Villains. Now I have One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and I have the big Ultimate Werewolf. But this one I got because I got it in their damaged section, their damaged warehouse section, and the outer box was so damaged that I actually cut away the back and the front and the one side. The rest of it was just all mangled, and then put all of everything in a Ziploc bag. But again, I got the entire game, and I paid less than $4 for a game that normally runs around $20. So I'm here like, hey, when it comes to stuff like this, okay, I'll do it. I have the game. So in case I'm in a group of people who don't want to play Ultimate Werewolf, maybe I can get them to play Ultimate Supervillains. You know, just to be different. Okay, so more Amazon purchases. Again, all but one of these was on a bit on a actually two of them were not on a big sale, but all the others were on a good price sale. This one I've been looking at. It's on my wish list. It was on my wish list. I now have it, but its predecessor was on my wish list. And then when this one came out, I swapped the wish list to be this one, the newer one, opposed to the older one. But I would have bought the older one if it had been on a special, if I gotten a good deal on it, because I'm all about super shopping. But this is Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up. Ramp It Up is the new version. Super Skill Pinball is the name of the original one, but the Ramp It Up gives you just a little bit more to go with, and it's basically you are playing it's a roll and write game. Can be played solo, and I have played it twice solo this week. It's kind of like a roll and write version of pinball. You're not with the machine going like this, frantically like this, but you roll dice and you move these little things, and I'll have to do a video on it. But it's different. It's like Super Skill Pinball. You can play it up to 4 people because there's 4 of every thing. Oh, my nose tickles. I've said this in past videos. When I start doing all this talking, my sinuses decide that they are loosening up and they want to tickle. Anyway, so Super Skill Pinball is a game that I can play solo, but you can play up to 4 people. It's a roll and write, but it gives you that pinball feel, which is unusual. Okay. 2.5 years ago, I did a video, and it's an hour-long video, but it's on this channel. From before I started this channel, I brought it over once I had this channel. It on the top 20 roll and writes, because I had done a bunch of research and found the top 20 roll and writes on people's lists from around the world. I mean, I watched videos in 4 different languages, so it was like, making this top 20 list. And one of the games was Let's Make a Bus Route. It was in my honorable mention because you could not get it in the United States. Basically, it was sold in Japan. And there was one person selling one from Japan for $75. And so I said, honorable mention. People really like this game, but $75 for a roll and write, I don't think so. So it's been on my wish list. It's like if anyone ever had one here and they wanted to sell it secondhand, it was on my radar. And then they came out with a Let's Make a Bus Route dice game, and I played that at the Dice Tower Retreat last September. And so, but again, it's impossible to get. Then I heard that the company was going to come up, the Sashi is the name of the company, the Japanese company, Sashi, and they were going to come up with a version of Let's Make a Bus Route, but with New York and London for the Western world. And so, get on board is what they call it. Get on board, New York and London. And after having it on my wish list for so long, for 2.5 years, 2 years, when I knew it was coming out. So it came out a little while ago. I waited until this month to get it, but they were running low. A couple places had sold out. I had been putting it off and putting it off, and a couple places online sold out, and Amazon had like 5 left, and I was like, I gotta get it before it's sold out, and who knows if they'll reprint or whatever. So so yeah, I broke down and get on board New York and London, and so yeah, so I got that one. Then another one that has been on my radar ever since I saw it and went, okay, it's a silly game. It's a silly premise. It's a super simple game. I mean, really. But showing my age, how many of you used to watch Wacky Races on Saturday morning cartoons? Wacky Races. Yes, it has all the different strange vehicles from that cartoon series, and like some of these that you can see here, and it's a silly game, but I just wasn't willing to pay full price for it. It just wasn't, for me, worth it to pay the full price, full retail. And CMON Games, I mean, it's a decent, good quality, cute miniatures, and then of course it went on sale. It was a very good sale, and so I watched it for a week, and was like, at some point this sale is going to end. And if I don't get it now, I probably won't get it, and at least not in the next 5 years. And so, so yeah, so I broke down and I ordered it. And yeah, it's a silly, silly thing, but it's a throwback to my childhood, or at least my, junior high childhood, because I'm old. Okay, so this game was on Disney Prime, not Disney Prime, it's a Disney game. It was on Amazon Prime days, and so I went and got it. It's Disney The Haunted Mansion. This is the Disneyland one. There's also a Disney World one, but at the time I got this, it was not on sale, on special, and so I got the Disneyland one. Since then, it was on sale, and I forced myself not to get it, even though it was only like $13.50 or something, because I kept on telling myself, you have a Haunted Mansion, you don't necessarily have to have both of the Haunted Mansions, though. Of course, I have not been in the Disneyland one. The day I was at Disneyland, it was it was closed because they were getting it ready for their fall reskinning, and yeah, so I couldn't actually ride it that day, and of course I know the one at Walt Disney World very well, but again, it wasn't on sale. So until after I'd already bought this one. Okay, this is the game that I talked about, gave you a clue about last Thursday. It is the most recent out, the newest game, hot off the press, and I did pay full retail for it because I had been waiting for it, and both online places either didn't have it or were sold out. And Amazon was down to just like 3 or 4, and so at that time, now they seem to have more, but that first initial push kind of, it was like, yeah. So I actually pre-ordered it. Yeah, they were low on their pre-orders, so that's Rear Window. You can learn all about Rear Window on my video that I just did last week. Love it, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. Like I say, all of these games are so new that most of them I have not had a chance to play yet. because, first of all, I don't have anyone to play with. I played the pinball one because it can be played solo and it's a quick game. Well, it takes about 45 minutes to play the whole game. But yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that was Rear Window. Next is, just because I love Clue, I got the mass market version of the Hasbro version of Clue Villains because I also like Disney. Well, yeah, I'm not happy with the corporation right now, but I love the parks and I love things like this. So theming of Clue with the Disney villains, yeah. And it was it was discounted the day I got it, so it was kind of like, okay, yeah, I just need to have that. It's just, look at all that. Oh, love it. Look at all the color and those villains that we know so well. And the last category, finally, are ones that I bought from the website miniaturemarket.com. Miniaturemarket.com is one of the two main ones that I go to online, gaming places. The other one is GameNerds.com, which actually had Nerds Day this last Friday. I was very good. I did not buy any games. Yeah, I kept on saying, I have enough. I don't need to buy more today. It's like, I don't need to buy more today. They had some on my wish list at a very good price, and I allowed them to get sold out and did not buy them. But what I did buy from Miniature Market in the last 7 weeks include Paris, translated to Paris, the City of Lights, and it's a 2-player game by Devere. It's a small game. It's not a complicated game. It will be at some point talked about on Get a Clue Casual Gamer, because it is a casual game, and a lot of these games will be some of the games that I bring up in the next few weeks to get to know. So yes, it's been on my wish list, on my radar. It only takes about 30 minutes. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it supposedly takes place in 1889 Paris. And yeah, Jose Antonio Abascal is the designer. And so we continue because this is getting long. The next one is Explorers by Ravensburger. Gotta love Ravensburger. But it is a Phil Walker Harding game. I have found that I need to do a video on just Phil Walker Harding games that I have and love, because I have figured out that I really seem to like Phil Walker Harding games. Phil Walker Harding is the designer, and he has designed quite a few games now, and they basically are all in the casual gamer genre, and so yeah, it's like I'm looking at a couple others over there, and there's another one at Target that I'm so upset that I did not get it the first couple weeks it was out. When it first came out, it was $20, and then overnight it went up to $30, and I am being stubborn and not buying it. As much as I love Phil Walker Harding games, Planted is just going to have to wait. Everyone loves Planted. There's nothing bad that anyone has said about Planted, and I'm just upset that it went up 10. I went to Target to get it when it was $20, and they were sold out. I mean, they showed 2 online, and when I went to the store, they were sold out. In fact, I've learned that sometimes you can order it online and do a car pickup, and it's in the back, and they bring it out. But they're sold out. They were out, and so I was not a happy camper about that. So I ordered it online, and the next day it had gone. I had just ordered these things from Miniature Market, and I said, well, I'll wait a couple days, and the next morning is when it had gone up $10. I mean, 50% increase in one overnight. I was like, so angry. But I do have Explorers, Phil Walker Harding. It is a roll and write. Eh, and it, people really seem to enjoy it. There have been great reviews about it, and it can be played solo as well. 1 to 4 players, 20 minutes. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna have to do a video on that. Another one that's been on my radar ever since I watched the Murphy Brothers, Nick and Mike Murphy. Um, they played it, and I fell in love with watching. I watched them play the game, and I'm here like, wish list. Let's add it to the wish list. And again, it was on special on Ninja Market, and so I bought Dice Miner. And it's unusual. On the back, you can see something about it. It uses a lot of dice and cards. And yeah, Dice Miner. I'm really looking forward to figuring it out. It's not a complicated game. Again, most of these are casual games because that's kind of the genre that I really gravitate towards, and this channel is all about. Yes, I can do Gloomhaven and Jocelyn Lion. I mean, I have. Where is it? Where's Teotihuacan? No, where did I put Teotihuacan? It's up there somewhere. Or maybe it's hiding behind something. Anyway, I mean, I've got harder games past the casual level, and I have played them. But this channel is not about them. Okay, this game, this last game, it's a cooperative game. Most people say it, well, some people say that they really like playing it with just 2 people. And others say they like playing it with 3 or 4 people. It can play up to 4 because it makes it more a heavier game, a more complicated game. But with 2 people, it's just kind of like back and forth. You know, it's kind of, you're trying to figure out the deduce. It's a deduction game, but a very different deduction game. Let me show you it. Decorum. Decorum is basically your roommates moving into a 4-room apartment or house, whatever, 4 rooms, and you each have a secret necessity to make you happy about this living setup, and you each have a different thing. For instance, one player might have a card that says there must be a lamp in the bathroom, and each room must not contain more than 2 colors. But the other player has one that says the house must have no red objects upstairs, and the house must not contain yellow. And so you have to take turns adding and taking off objects or color of different colors and styles. It could be modern, it could be traditional, it could, yeah, they're all sorts of different things until it fits both of your criteria, but you can't tell each other what your criteria are. It's a deduction game. You're trying to figure out what goes where in what color or style to make both of you happy, or all 4 of you happy if it's 4 people playing. And it's Decorum. I like deduction games. I'm not all. Some of them I'm better at than others. I am really bad at Cryptid. Right there. I think it's the neatest looking game, and I have watched it played so many times. I've played it twice. I've watched it played completely through several times on different channels, and I still, for the life of me, have no idea how they're figuring out where that cryptid is hiding on that board. I have no idea. But this sounds a little bit more like my level of deduction. Again, with my love of Clue, I love deduction games. So that's one of the kinds I like. And so this is a beautiful, bright colors and very different from any other game. So yeah, that's it. Those are all the games I have accumulated in the last, since June 1st. So basically, in the last 6.5 weeks, 6 weeks and 2 days, something like that. Well, actually 6 weeks because I haven't gotten any in the last 2 days. So let's just say it's 6 weeks. Those are all the ones I accumulated and how I accumulated them and where and why. And again, if any of these games really catch your fancy and you want me to do a get a clue early, earlier than others, put it down in the comments that this is, this or these are really interesting to me and I would really like to see a get a clue soon. And I will put them at the front of the line for the video, the weekly, bi-week or semi-weekly videos. So there you have it. You got a clue about a bunch of games that you could learn a little bit more about. Let me know which ones would interest you, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in 3 days. Bye.